is another week to behold this face and behold your favorite show when it comes to sports in Nigeria. My name is Joy Ojablu, but you can call me, or my friends and everyone else calls me Euphoria. And I am your host for today's episode of The Gliders. And I never get to work alone. It is still the International Women's Month. So, I expect that I should be getting hampers. I should be getting, and I'll start from the guys in the studio. Guys, what's going on? I did not see I did not even see plastic flower. Plastic flower. Eh?
Don't worry, Easter is coming.
But Easter is next month. I'll not hold on to that card again now.
The celebration won't stop now. It never stops. It's not restricted to Women's Month. So
well, there's this guy knows how to get me. He knows ball. Anyways, Emmanuel was one's voice you heard, and Emmanuel was not available last week because he had football business outside. He had football business outside Lagos. How was your week last week? How was your week this week? It's been a while I've seen you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. There's one phrase you normally use: say, "Sports, football will take you places." So I don't know,
yes.
but yeah, I'm here, grateful. I mean, maybe some states in Nigeria to clock, but I've actually traveled around.
Everywhere.
Most of the states, and this past week was Oka and Uyo. It's stressful, quite stressful. From Oka to Uyo by road. Some of the roads still not yet done structurally, so some bumpy roads, bumpy rides and all that, but you have to do the job. You have to stay focused on the job as well. So yeah, it was fantastic. The game lived up to expectations.
Really dramatic.
Aqua United and Sporting Lagos, but the referee had other ideas because it was very obvious. How do you intentionally delay the team's substitutions? Not once, not twice. Sporting Lagos wanted to make a change. You kept on delaying. Ball will go out of play. Your fourth official on the sidelines will call your attention, but you go turn deaf ears. Like say you don't know what happened. So it was quite terrible and all that. That's my only sore note of the game. But if not on the pitch, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
End to end, Paul of 4 against his former side. And with the end now, just one team qualifies, and 10 teams will get relegated. 3 from Conference A and B, and 2 from Conference C and D. So it's that crucial point, that crucial time. So everybody wants points. Yeah. So it's been wonderful. But thankfully I'm here, grateful for the job, and like you always say as well, you don't walk alone. Chelsea and Liverpool, hideous twins in the Premier League. I don't know whether they don't want make top 4. It's just terrible. I won't bring her come first. So because Liverpool just the go here, come here. But I mean
you guys qualify for the next round of the Champions League against,
I'm hopeful.
Now
PSG they go meet. But I'm hopeful, but let's see how it goes. But that's been it in the last couple of days. But bottom line is I'm grateful for where football has taken me to.
So always grateful where football and sports in general has taken me, particularly since we are celebrating Women's Month. I always want to remember that. I mean, we're supposed to be currently covering the AFCON right now, but CAF had other ideas. CAF and Morocco had other ideas. But I mean, whenever I look back and I'm like, oh wow, football. I mean, if I decided I wanted to do a 9 to 5, I don't think I would have traveled this much to cover what I love. It's me getting paid to do what I love. So yes, it's something that we share in common and we love it. Talking about another person that gets paid to do what he loves, and he has not yet sent when it's my OP.
Well, you love, they need to pay you. They pay you. You feel laugh like say they pay you now. I beg you.
Don't worry, we're not telling anybody to bill you. Everybody is saying. When you are buying petrol at almost 1,400, you cannot easily just tell someone send me money. Right now, everybody's being cranky. But yes, how you doing? How's your week? Please minus the capitalism and adulting and Nigerianism, because you add all of that together. Minus that, how's your week been?
Yeah, it was a nice week. Interesting one. I was supposed to travel on Friday, but I mean plans changed and all that. But talking about football taking you places, I just wanted to chip it in. And then the fact that, I've been working with a club. I mean, watching football from a European angle and then seeing some things. But coming back home, I know, okay, maybe in terms of facilities, not the same, but I mean, there's some things that, okay, I'm like kind of open to and used to now. I mean, is it maybe, let's say, okay, the pre-match meetings of the coaches and the players. I mean, it can also be fun because there was a game. I think there was an away trip we had, and then there was this pre-match meeting because they always do a match analysis before the game in the evening, and then coaches telling them maybe what they did in the last games, or would have made these clips, and the technical team having analysis and all of those things. All of those things have been some things that have been able to access, being able to see how players seeing players documents.
So you are there front row.
Those kind of things. Yeah. Players documents, all of those things. Doctor telling the player that you're not fit enough to start. I mean, in Europe,
even if you feel fit enough to start.
In Europe now, if Arsenal and Manchester City wants to play, I would probably just read it online, and maybe Sky Sports will just break the news that Mikel Arteta is going to drop Eze. Exactly, but I've experienced it.
You have real time.
I've experienced our doctor telling the coach that this guy cannot start and all of those things. So I mean, it's just some of those beautiful things that you see with football, and of course the traveling, and then of course enjoying the football, and then like you did say, getting paid to. I mean, there's this fun that comes with you. Getting paid. Doing what you love and what you enjoy. It's not about just getting paid because you want to survive and all that, but you enjoy football. Football is a space, or sports is a space you like to be in, and then you're also getting paid to work in that space. I mean, it's really beautiful. So, really glad to be back on the show. I mean, for a while now, I've not been like consistent on the show, but yeah, we see the turn up. I'm not like Felix.
There's no week that Felix is not here. I mean, last week he said something like the reason why you're saying is because you're on the show. Don't worry, next episode like this, somebody will enter you again. And see, I'm not even wrong, Felix.
Just to pick up on what Timothy said, and this might be for a couple of viewers who will be watching. Okay. Yes, you it's a delight to get paid from what you do, but I mean, if you've got chance to volunteer, try and do it, because it's also it's a sweet transition.
Yes,
when you volunteer, no money, no pay, but you love what you're doing, then that transition of that same thing, now you're earning from it.
Yes.
It's always a sweet transition. So if you've got the chance to volunteer, put yourself out there, please do. The money is going to come eventually, but no volunteer your life because these days now you need money. You need money. So
before they use your
exactly. So I just wanted to add that for anybody who's watching.
Put
yourself out there.
Yes,
volunteer.
because I mean, a lot of us get asked how for those that are coming up, how they can get into the sports industry. It's a saturated industry already. I'll not lie to you. If you want to make it a thing, I know people who are working 9 to 5 and still have time to go on radio shows, weekends, and to sit do about what they love, which is sports. To talk about it. I see analysts. I mean, I grew up under a lot of them back when I was interning in my second year in school. I mean, one thing that would always get you first-hand knowledge of a lot of things, like he's saying now, many of the things that he mentioned, I experienced because I was volunteering. I was using my own, but I mean, while I was doing that, I was earning from somewhere else. So
other things,
make sure that you are actually earning to be able to fuel your passion. Eventually, your passion will end up bringing back paychecks, but while you're doing that, it's a very good way to start. You can go volunteer there are a lot of clubs in Lagos. The other day I tweeted something yesterday, guys. I mentioned on Twitter, I said FA Cup, Lagos FA Cup, we have 77 teams in Lagos now. I mean 77 0 plus 7 are the number of teams that are competing, and not all of them are even competing in that FA Cup. There are more than 77 teams in Lagos. So for you to be able to volunteer in one of these 77 at least, you can go in there. If you have skills in graphics design, you can say, I want to work with you. Let me be doing this for you. Maybe you could negotiate with them to give you stipends for data, or if you can do that for them for free, no problem. Like I said, it's something that will groom you to be able to pitch yourself to better brands or other brands in the future. So we are giving you nuggets now. You pay me for that. You pay. And how do you pay? You link this thing, or you share this thing I am telling you on the show, not just this but the entire show. Share it to your loved ones, and if you've not subscribed, it's your first time viewing, I'm sure that everyone that comes here ends up subscribing. We have an OG family of the Gliders community of viewers and commenters in the comment section, so yes, I know that. But if this is your first time, someone shared this to you, do us a favor by sharing to someone else after you subscribe, to continue to share what we've been enjoying down in the studio here. So yes, thank you so much for
before you proceed, Joe.
Yeah?
I just as you were speaking about the community, I just remember that I know it's going to be a decision from everybody, but maybe just some days try to bring on.
I think we'll do that before the end of the season. Yeah. I had it in mind before the end of the football season. We still have, why we will not do it right now is because there's so much competition still going on, and there's still there's a lot at stake right now. This is a part of the season, but by the time we start getting to the decisive stage and say, this is already done, where we know that we have just the semi-finals and the finals of the Champions League. We already know the teams that will be getting there. We already know that, okay, the FA Cup, this is the people that will play the FA Cup final. We have just 2 or 3 games to the end of the season. Even if to go down the wire, we already know that, okay, this is what we will know that, okay, it's going to go down the wire. By the time we get to that point, we get some of you guys who have been consistent with the family for this past year. We are a year already doing the Gliders. For this past year, to come on the show and of course let us converse, leave that comment section that we're always talking, let us come and talk right here real time in the studio. So just keep an eye out, guys. We'll be posting how this is going to go about. Like I said, we're going to have a conversation and then we'll decide how we're going to do it, whether we're going to do it week by week or we're going to just have a single week where we're going to have a number of you on the show for an episode or some episodes of the Gliders. So guys, last week was filled with a lot of drama for Emmanuel Sebastian in football, where he went for NNL games as a commentator, but he was not the only one that was the receiving end of drama. I didn't see drama real time, but I saw drama past what's happened with something that took us places, which is the AFCON. Now, the AFCON brought the biggest drama I think I've ever seen in my life in football. I've seen drama and I've seen drama in football, but I think this is the biggest I have ever seen as a football fan. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Is this someone said something on Twitter and it was the funniest thing. He said, we've seen 90 plus 20 minutes and people will be complaining, especially MPFL. Sometimes you see that they said added minutes, 20 minutes, and obviously most times it's because after the added minutes has elapsed, during that period or when it was added, something happened and maybe there's an injury. After the referee said, okay, we have 6 minutes added time, someone falls on the pitch and they are treating the person, and then another 3 minutes goes on, so the referee will continue to extend it, and it may get to 90 plus 20, or it does most times doesn't get up to that, but there's exaggeration too there. But this is the first time we are seeing 90 plus 60 days. This was announced on the 17th of March, and the AFCON final was on the 18th of January. So it was 60 days if you count the 31st of January on, and it is 60 days, guys. 90 plus 60 days. This is the biggest remontada that has ever happened in the history of sports for me. Maybe in the early 90s or something happened. I don't know. I know I am a fan of history, a big fan of history. I read normal history a lot. I read sport history a lot. But I don't think I've ever seen it when a team is stripped of a title 60 days after they were crowned champions by the same body. And that happened and threw the entire continent into a frenzy. Those for, those against. We even saw news of a particular club in Egypt that said they will not be participating in CAF tournaments as their own protest for a lot of things. CAF has been there's so much pressure. The president has come out to give a speech because of it, to address, because we were under so much fire, guys. And I think we'll just touchlight, because right now the case is now in CAS, the highest sports court we have in the world. So lawyers will be deliberating there. There will be a lot of technicalities that will be explained to us later on, but for now I want us to look at it as people that are in media. We went there, we covered this tournament, and for a lot of angles, we had Gliders episode from Morocco, a lot of angles to look at this thing from. like I said, we are not sport lawyers, so we don't want to talk about it until the case has been decided by CAS and nobody can appeal that one. And then we can now talk about the rulings and all of that. You have to stay on the gliders. You have to subscribe for when that time comes.
I'm not talking.
So when that comes out, we'll now properly talk about the technicalities. But if you missed that news, I think it's everywhere. If you missed that news, it happened that Morocco were crowned, or let me put it this way, Senegal were stripped of what they won title, in Morocco on the 18th of January, and Morocco were awarded the title, and that final was ruled as a 3 goals win, 3-0 win to Morocco, because they decided that Senegal forfeited that game using Article 82. This article is what will be displayed on your screen now, so you can see it and see the argument in which an appeal body that was presided by a Nigerian, surprisingly to a lot of people, because Nigerians are against the decision, or majority of Nigerians are against the decision. But this is what that article by CAF appeal body says, and it is obvious that this is what Morocco presented as their argument to CAF to say, okay, this is why we should win. I mean, they were the one that appealed the decision, and then CAF had to sit as a body, and this happened. Now, from the marketing point of view, Timothy, you saw how much went into we talked about the numbers too when we came back. We talked about the analytics that concerns the AFCON, the numbers we saw, the difference between the 2023 AFCON and the 2025 AFCON from both digital media, conventional media. We saw all of that. You were talking about the stats on one of our shows. How do you think this has rubbed off on the reputation of this tournament? Not just CAF, but the tournament itself, because obviously this is the highest grossing number tournament when it concerns numbers in terms of CAF competitions. We have other CAF competitions. The AFCON is there, CAF Cups are there. There's they tweeted something the next day about school games that was going to be happening in one of the countries in South Africa. I think Zimbabwe or Rwanda, I'm not sure. So there are different CAF competitions that obviously happen, but CAF AFCON is the biggest when it concerns the publicity, is the biggest when it concerns the attraction to the competition in terms of numbers. And obviously, brands deal with numbers. How would this affect AFCONs going forward?
Yeah, so firstly, before I talk about the part of what it means for the marketing side, maybe CAF saw that the fact that the numbers that it did digitally at the AFCON, I think it was over 6.1 billion impressions.
Yeah, it was.
And then they feel like, okay, let's do a post AFCON impression, because I mean, on the day, on Tuesday night, was it on Tuesday night?
Yes,
on Tuesday night when the tweet was made. The next morning, it had over 7 million impressions. That tweet alone, and I don't know, but I know that if you understand how these things work, you kind of understand what I mean. For every AFCON was like the most trended word. I mean, Morocco, Senegal, if you just search that keyword on Google, on whatever browser you wanted to search, on whatever
social media platform. I mean, even TikTok,
exactly. I mean, it was trending.
Down.
As at this moment, as I'm speaking to you, it has over 17 million impressions. I'm talking about the tweets. In fact, I don't think I've seen a tweet where the comments is more than even the reposts. I mean, the comments on that tweet is over 35k. The reposts, and you know that under reposts there is the part of quotes, and
yes,
the reposts and quotes is about 34k,
and while that's the likes, just Twitter.
Exactly, while the likes is about 40k. So it shows how much has gone into comments on. I mean, everybody's talking about AFCON and all of those things. On the marketing side of things, I don't really know how it will make an impact, but I don't think that this is really giving a good facial value to what is happening at the moment. Because
sorry to cut you continue your thoughts there. Let me add this part. Yesterday, after Arsenal lost the the Carabao Cup final to Man City, someone said something in a public group and it has gone viral as at yesterday night. He said that CAF Sena Arsenal win the couple. Like it is a very damning image if you look at it from the marketing angle. But you can continue your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know, maybe it's true, but I've seen some tweets. Like I said, I don't know if it's true that maybe is it Guinea or Equatorial Guinea?
No, it's not true. They came out with a statement.
Exactly. So, but I mean, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot to this, and it really doesn't speak well because for the marketing side of things, you have declared that this is the champion. You awarded the medals. I mean, the FIFA president was there, the CAF president, and all of those dignitaries. You said that these are the champions of this tournament, and then you now come 2 months after to say that there are no more champions of this tournament, and there's a whole lot of messy side to it. But in terms of marketing, I don't think it makes so much sense. But in terms of marketing as well, there's this thing that most times we know that there have been some brands, they've gotten into some mess, and then there was this thing that the PR damage. So I don't know, maybe CAF would have their PR guys or the people in the PR department get to work towards that, and you can always clean up a mess. So maybe they'll get to that point where they'll clean up that mess and they'll feel like this is something that happened. I mean, it could be AFCON 2027 and all of us will forget that this kind of drama happened. So it depends on how the body, the PR people, they want to try to clean up the mess, because I mean, there's so many brands that you have gotten into a mess and all of that. At this point, many people still even use that brand, and they even depend on those brands more than even other brands that have existed. So, and let's see how it works out. But right now, at the moment, it's not looking good in terms of marketing side.
I mean, it's a lot from CAF. But let me bring it to Emmanuel. I'll use the WAFCON as your own part for brands. We talked about it a bit when the WAFCON was postponed, but I want you to look at it this angle now. We've seen what have happened, and now Morocco is saying that they are prepping for July for the WAFCON. Now, as a brand, let's look at media as a brand. We know what it means for any company to buy rights to be able to air exclusive rights, because most times companies buy exclusive rights to be able to air tournaments like the WAFCON or the AFCON in Africa. We know them. I don't just want to mention them. Now, that brand has obviously lost a lot of money going into March, and that didn't work out. If you are that brand now, in July, do you think, I mean, they've obviously won the rights. They're not going to leave CAF hanging like Morocco did. Do you think you're going to put in so much energy? And when I mean, obviously they'll air the games, but all they did that concerns activations, that concerns digital push, that would bring the numbers like we saw during the AFCON, that we saw 6.1 billion. There was so much that went into behind the scenes. And even the scenes, you could see CAF was doing a lot of publicity, a lot of stuff going on. Not just CAF, the brands that worked with CAF. A lot of people partnered with CAF. Some companies did ambush marketing. Everybody was just pushing.
Even
that was why you understand. MROC was one of those that were official sponsors of the tournament. Now you look at all of that, and now you see how they handled the WAFCON. As a brand, do you think that this is something that brands would now want to key into when it comes to July? Seeing that same country that kept the whole company or the whole continent on hostage are still the ones that are hosting. As of now, they are still the ones hosting.
To be honest, the only stronghold that CAF has is because, I mean, it's the WAFCON. It's a top tier tournament when it comes to women's football in Africa. So they will feel, as a brand, you have no choice. You will have to come and invest. You'll have to come and put your money in this. Yes, but you wouldn't want to allow complacency to set in as much as you feel confident that brands will always come. To be honest, even if the AFCON, despite all the drama and all the worry, there's this confidence on CAF that, I mean, it's a big competition, it's the biggest, so brands will definitely still come in. Sometimes complacency might set in and you tend to do things anyhow, do things where you like, but that complacency limits, there's a limit it can get to, and it might be detrimental. Yeah, it's not a good thing to see, because players have already traveled, clubs have released their players at that particular time, that window, then you get to postpone the tournament, so it doesn't look good for brands as well. These people, they have plans, they have how they organize things, and if you set a date for when the tournament is going to hold, and eventually it doesn't hold at that set date. And the precedence has been there. Even the players have also come out to voice their opinions, to complain that CAF doesn't treat the women's game the way they treat the men's game as well. So there's always been a bad precedence, which is why this whole ruling on the AFCON, like it shook the whole football world, to be honest, because I have seen CAF presidents. There was a video that came online that he was coming out to defend the decision of the the disciplinary board. Yes, in as much as you want to hold appeal board, sorry, in as much as you want to how do I put this now, you want to uphold competitions regulations, you don't do that to the detriment of the game's integrity, because this decision has affected the integrity of the game, because people won't see CAF as a serious body anymore. Because people have, to be honest, you saw the tweets. Silent but really loud. Because that's you putting the integrity of the game as shambles out there. Because it's one of many implications. You talked about, the impact on marketing and all that. There's also impact on stakeholders as well. We are stakeholders in the game. We follow the game. We earn from it. We air our opinions. We air our voices as well. So there's also impact on stakeholders. You tend not to take these decisions serious anymore. Also, precedents, disciplinary precedents as well. You've set a precedence now. Are you going to stick by it? Because
the next edition of the AFCON, if somebody's not happy with the finals, now they'll
go on and so
you can turn. You say she did for Morocco, you can do
this. You can do for us as well. So it sets a bad precedence as well, because this is a whole lot of drama. Because I see no reason why you should rescind the decision to give Senegal the title and hand it to Morocco when Morocco were happy to carry on with the game. Senegal came out to continue the game. Morocco were happy to continue.
If they had scored that penalty, I don't think,
and they even had a penalty in their favor. So and you're talking about the articles here and there, 84 regulations, the competitions regulations and all that. But there was a referee. There was a match commissioner on the day. There was a referee. I don't know if all these were included in their report. It should be, but they felt it was okay to carry on with the game, to award Senegal the game, because it was played and it was won square and fair on the field of play. And it took you over 50 days, 60 to be precise, to now give another decision
because
off the pitch
and the thing that makes it really, even if they are right, it makes it looks really shady, is that it happened after Morocco did not host the WAFCON when you won. It happened after you've already given a ruling that made you fine a lot of these players and the coaches. And I'll go
to that.
You get
so it is a whole lot of that. Let me allow Timothy Emmanuel finish.
Okay. So let me just wrap up my thoughts. So, like I said, there was a referee, there was a match commissioner, and there's also rules of the game on referees as well, on their decision. Like you said, we are not lawyers, but these are basic ones that we know. Referee have the final say. They make decisions on the pitch, and what they decide is final. So if there's a referee on the day who deemed it fit for the game to carry on because Senegal came out and Morocco were okay, and Morocco said, okay, we are not going to carry on with the game,
they did not protest,
then we could see where this is coming from. But then they were happy to carry on with the game, and you now open a can of worms for people to think that, okay, there's something going on behind the scene,
like me.
And this is happening because you pulled out of the World Cup.
That's our AFCON final in 2000 in Lagos. Let's go back and revisit it.
So a whole lot, man. So
this is messy beyond just marketing. You are putting, okay, so let's start from before I go to Motsepe's statement, which I find very funny, but it's a man that we know, he knows how to talk and
stuff.
He's a diplomat. But
you put this in a position. To be very honest, before the AFCON started, or okay, maybe let me not say before the AFCON started, when the AFCON started and then when it got to the position like from the round of 16, majority of people who followed the AFCON, and this is not me talking from emotions, this is me talking from what you can see online and this conversation. Many people saw the need. Many people use this word that, okay, CAF are doing everything possible to ensure Morocco wins the AFCON.
To reward them.
Let's go back to the round of 16 game against Tanzania. I'm not a referee. I'm not a match commissioner or anything. But Tanzania had a check that should have been called for at least a foul. Yeah. At least go and check it. There was no check.
They did not check,
Let's go to the quarterfinal game against Cameroon. Van Mbemo was fouled in the box. There was also Eto. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Young Eto or something is his name. It was hit in the elbow. I don't even remember in that quarterfinal against Cameroon.
Yeah, it was elbowed.
Let's go into the game against Nigeria. Many Nigerians at this point, they will still not believe. I mean, if you have two of your players, I don't think I've heard professional players come out openly to talk about referees. Bright Osai Samuel was there speaking about the refereeing. He was not talking about any other thing. Akwa Adams said, go and interview the referee. Let's go into the final. If Morocco had scored that goal that Senegal scored few minutes before Morocco got that penalty, would Morocco have had that goal overturned? So, I mean, all of these things stick to people's mind, and people have this notion that, okay, you are doing everything possible to ensure that Morocco wins this AFCON. Thankfully, on the day, Morocco did not win the AFCON. And then after a few days, the disciplinary board of CAF decided that every appeal or every protest that the Federation of Morocco brought to them was disappeared. They upheld Senegal's results. They fined Saibari, the Moroccan player, Saibari. They fined him, I think, about $100,000. They fined the Moroccan Federation about $100,000 for the ball boys. They banned
him for a couple of games.
Exactly. My issue now is, okay, let's talk about the fact that, okay, the Morocco, they won whatever they did in appeal board, article, whatever you guys call it. What article, what ruling supports what Saibari did, and you are
returning that?
I mean, 100,000, not that it was reduced, it was turned off. The ball boys, everybody till now still complains about the world. In fact, if you go online, maybe the towel issue and all of those things,
still continues. They still do it in CAF games.
Exactly. You reduce the fine from 100,000 to 50,000. There was also one 15,000. They reduced it to 10,000. What ruling or what article supports you deducting all of these fines? And then the ones for Senegal is still upheld. I mean, these are things that we need questions for. And then a lawyer that is on NU, Nnaeri, talked about the fact that Morocco decided to play that game till the end means that they waived their. There's a word to use. It means that they waived their appeal.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
No, I think
he used the word. They waived
their chances to be able
continue
to
I mean, they waived their chances because they continued to the final game, and that was what Emmanuel said. The game. If Diaz had scored that penalty, we will not even be in this place. So why, after all of a sudden you lost the game, and then you decided, okay, you want to come and continue to play? I mean, then you now come that, okay, you want to go to court and all of this. I mean, it's all messy, but for Mosepe's statements, I find it very funny that it's like the president of Nigeria saying that, okay, what happens in maybe because, okay, a ruling that the Senate gave or
not
something.
The Senate, like the Supreme Court.
Okay, he's not concerned about it. That's what
he was not aware.
That's what
and then someone came out to say that he was lying. I mean, there's so much drama.
That's what I find about Mosepe's statement. You are the head of CAF. I mean, everything that happens in CAF, it's just like
for a major thing like that. There's no way you tell me. I didn't know that you were sitting.
You said you got the response via mail also. I don't understand. In that, I don't know how it works and everything, but I feel like the day the judgment was even going to be passed, I feel like you should be in that sitting. It's not about you just saying you got the mail. I don't know, but it's all messy, and when you come out to say that, oh, you got the mail just like everybody, you are not in the CAF appeal board and all of those things,
like Punja from Ojodu.
I mean, it's kind of distasteful to hear.
And talking about the articles, the law, there are some loopholes. They need to, make some.
I mean, in that same 82, I'm not a lawyer. Yeah. Yes, I'm not a lawyer. In that same 82, I pointed it out. I even left the one you talked about where the referee has the final say on leave that one. That same article 82. Please read it out so that maybe I'll interpret it.
If for any reason whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee.
Stop there. Without the authorization of the referee. Because I was there. We were all there. We were all there when players left the pitch. Not all the players, by the way, because we had players like Mane still trying to calm things down on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then I
saw Joy, what if I tell you that Walid Regragui, the coach of Morocco on that day, if you notice, he was speaking to Paputio and telling him to call his players out because he felt that this is not good for the game. And even at I think was he at the press conference or something, he talked about the fact that he did not like what happened on the night, that if anything is going to happen, let's finish it on the pitch.
On the pitch.
So even the coach himself wanted the team to play.
Yeah.
The team eventually came out to play, and he was happy that they came out to play. It's not like the game ended or they did not come out or something.
Like I said, that authorization of the referee is one thing people decided to turn a blind eye towards, because once the referee authorized that the game should continue, that is the person that we should look at.
Exactly.
Referee continued this game, penalty was taken, penalty was not scored, and then we went into extra time, an extra 30 minutes that both team had the equal chance to win. In fact, all of us were thinking we were going to go into play penalty shootouts, and then Senegal scored. They scored. Morocco had chance to equalize. They kept on playing. I mean, we had to leave early because we were going to miss our train. But we continued watching the game, and we saw that they kept on pressing to see if they could get the equalizer that will force it to what? To a penalty shootout. All of this, like I said, I don't want to go into the technicalities. It's a lot of technicalities. I mean, a lot of sport lawyers have been talking. We talked about someone who gave the thought about the fact that once Morocco went back to the pitch, if Senegal has walked out, and then when they come back, they say, we're not playing again, you walked out. I mean, you should know the law. You should know the law of the game.
For me, bottom line, before we move away from this topic, bottom line for me is we are not saying we want to see what happened.
Senegal obviously, like someone said that CAF slapped the wrists of Senegalese for what they did, and I also agree. I believe that those fines,
because we don't want to see that happen. We don't want to see players walking off.
It's a bad precedent.
The pitch as well. So let's get that one straight.
And Senegal is also pampered.
Yeah.
Next finals, if
anybody can just walk out.
Like what happened against Nigeria, between Nigeria and Morocco, if we were that petty like Senegal, we would have left the pitch. It was worse than what happened to the Senegalese. Senegalese played ball. They were allowed to play ball now. The only thing is that they were not allowed to. They were not given any 50-50 chance. We all knew it was going to go to the Moroccans. Like what you said, it was not even about the fact that people were saying. It was what we were saying. Every 50-50 chance for everybody that played against Morocco from the round of 16 that we were focusing on, because the group stage everybody just faced. We had a lot of people. We had a lot of stadiums we were focusing on because we had a lot of games that was going at the same time. Once you are applying for media pass for this group game, CAF is telling you, sure you'll be able to come from first. You understand? All those things was a battle, but when we got into the business end of the tournament, which is the knockout stage, we started watching other groups. So because we were already doing, if we play this, we'll meet. We already knew we were going to meet Morocco in the semi-finals if we progress to the semi-finals. So we were obviously focusing on Morocco's game. In fact, in my mind, I knew I didn't want to play Morocco. I knew it because I watched them. I played against them when I mean Nigeria, we played against them, the AFCON, and I know how petty they can be because they want to win by all means. They did it in the AFCON finals. It just didn't work for them. They did it in the AFCON finals. It still did not work for them. But before then, every other person suffers before they get to the final. In the AFCON, Ghana suffered. Is it Cameroon? I can't remember. Not Cameroon. Ghana suffered. Every team that just meets them, you just know that things will just be against you, and at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it.
And to be honest, it's really funny because looking at the whole incident again, I mean, I don't know if it's audacity or as we go say in Pidgin, morale for no, I'm talking about the ball boys challenging a professional footballer because of toil. The clips are there. I've forgotten the name now. Senegal reserve goalkeeper. He was there to support Mendy. And giving him the towel. There were a group of ball boys. What is that audacity? Like he was running. They dragged him to the ground. A professional footballer.
He was running. He was running away with
and
the
ball boys.
The first.
So I don't know what to call that. Like it's crazy.
They won the fair play award of that tournament.
So it's absolutely crazy. And then the appeal board deems it fit to reduce the fine.
And even clear for some of them, like Sabari,
and clear for some of them, even the laser incident.
We know
the issues with Morocco and laser. They also reduced the fine on that as well. So it's crazy. The whole decision is even everybody watching this can see that it is the wrong decision. Like every opponent Morocco faced, there was one issue
the
or the
integrity
other.
of CAF is are in question by a very terrible degree.
I mean, Joy, if you follow this past week, because I'm because I write, I like to read a lot of columns from Telegraph, all of the UK and all of. I mean, I've seen so much AFCON conversation. I mean, the Times UK would hardly talk about stuff that is not about England. They've talked about the AFCON, the Athletic, they've talked about the AFCON so much, the Telegraph, they've talked about the AFCON,
ESPN,
BBC, they're talking about the AFCON so much that at this point in time, because when you look at it, I'm not saying they should not talk about the AFCON, but what I'm trying to say is, in normal context, everybody has what they talk about in real. Okay, it's just like MPFL to a podcast. They would always talk about the MPFL. You know that some radio stations, they will always favor the Super Eagles conversation more. The Talk Sport will always talk about Premier League and all of those things. But I mean, in recent days, the conversation about AFCON has been going on. I mean, Trustekong was on beIN Sports over the weekend. The conversation about this thing so it's messy because everybody does not see that something that makes any sense.
Finally, Africa, step up. Morocco, we love you. We had a wonderful time. You have one of the best facilities, but
they have a good team.
You have a good team as well. Not like you have a bad football team, but
you got to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Nobody should be talking to you on the continent.
But I feel like if you want to win on the pitch.
Win on the pitch. But something like for me, the rest of Africa, infrastructure-wise, should step up because Morocco is feeling like they are doing CAF a favor because yes, they have the best of facilities.
Like CAF is now
they have the best, and it looks like they are obligated. So imagine other African countries now have infrastructures apart, maybe just few worlds apart in terms of facility, because, maybe not Morocco, to the level of Morocco, but at least to some extent they won't be doing all those things they are doing.
Looking at they are looking to host
the World Cup. No, I'm not saying the necessary to even catch up with them.
Yeah, just to an extent. You can
host a tournament. This won't be happening because we are struggling now to get a befitting host to this standard. We were happy with the AFCON we saw in Ivory Coast. Cote d'Ivoire did wonderfully well. Morocco came up, took it a notch higher in terms of infrastructure and all that. Now, who is going to host next? It's going to be three countries hosting together.
And then there's can they match up to that level? So they might even postpone it because facilities are not going to be ready.
So Africa, the rest of Africa needs to step up. That's what I would say.
So much.
Because this cannot happen in Europe, where you have one country holding other countries to ransom, because there are several countries who can step up to host because the facilities are there. It's always there. But in Africa, we are hoping on one particular country to. I can't even name up to 10 African countries that can host a standard AFCON tournament as it stands right now, because facility wise we are lacking. Morocco has come out to step up to save African football, but other African countries need to step up. They need to own up and build infrastructures, build stadiums, build connect systems, improve maintenance culture across board. We just need that.
South Africa
really.
And Egypt, and maybe because they've hosted a lot of times, they just decided to let go. And South Africa came out to say they could bail for the AFCON. They came out to actually say, they said the first time and they ran away and said, no.
We didn't say that.
When they came out where this whole thing came out and said, why are they holding us to ransom? Is it not facilities? But I mean, guys, the AFCON is just more than it takes just more than facilities.
And the drama has not ended.
And the drama has not ended.
It's not.
We are still at that time actually. Yes, because the AFCON. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I don't have authority to say anything.
And
but
CAF has updated on the website that Morocco are champions.
Yeah, which was still
that one concerned them for Senegal. They are still champions. They still have their medal.
When added time because CAF now we don't know when CAF will give a judgment. Maybe we would have even played 2027 AFCON before.
I mean, that's the update. So
that's the update. And funny thing, guys, before we leave this, let me just tell the viewers that if you did not know, both AFCONs, Morocco now officially has 2 stars. Both AFCONs that they've won are won based on technicality. The technicality of this one, everybody knows now because it's a recent thing. Now, the technicality of the first one happened because of the time when they won in an era where they finished top of. It was played in a league phase kind of way. Once you topped, and then something happened. I can't remember the full story now, but they won based on technicality. So they didn't win a final. Morocco has never won a final, and they've won 2 AFCONs. Really funny, but that's for AFCON. And why we're talking a lot about international football right now is because we're in the international break, which is going to be a long time for fans of Chelsea, for fans of Manchester United, because of their agitated about how their result ended against Bournemouth. It's going to be a long international break. For fans of Arsenal,
if for draw they are agitated, people will lose. I beg, no.
I mean, Chelsea also lost. I'm just saying that. I mean, it's going to be a long international break, and there's so much that we want to touch light on. I mean, the Super Eagles might not be playing. Should I complete that statement? Might not be playing at the World Cup because the Super Eagles are also not letting.
That's fact. So
I mean, it is supposed to be facts, but the fact that we are taking it to CAS.
No, let's talk about what is on ground.
That's what I'm saying. Okay,
so,
based on what's on ground, we are not playing at the World Cup, but the players are supposed to report to camp this week because there are 2 friendlies to be played. But before we go into the Super Eagles friendly games and get to talk about the World Cup qualifiers that will continue this month, I mean, all the other qualifiers will be wrapped up this month, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, from other continents and other confederations. Before we now get into the final. I mean, the final window where we get to see the World Cup. That will be in June, July. Yes, we saw. We've seen things like. I mean, the World Cup it's a World Cup year. No, though it's not as what would I call it, as enthusiastic to a lot of people. Not because we didn't even qualify, but the fact that the place where it will be hosted has a very, very somehow energy when it concerns immigration. Or immigration for a lot of countries, and then there's currently a war with one of the hosting countries against another country, which has made one of the countries that qualified actually. They were one of the first countries to qualify. I remember when they qualified, that day they qualified, and I was like, oh, they've joined the host countries to qualify. Iran would not be playing at the World Cup because their safety is not guaranteed by the government of that country. So it's just a lot. All of that is the reason why the World Cup year is not looking like a World Cup year. I mean, we didn't qualify in 2022, and there was still the buzz going into Qatar because Qatar was going to be hosting. There was the money. It was a long year, but we were all looking forward to it to see what. I mean, when you remember that Qatar used containers to build a stadium, there was so much people were looking forward to, and they outspent every other World Cup combined. I don't want to know how many World Cup, but in recent years, when you look at 2010 South Africa, 2014, it keeps increasing. But when we looked at the 2022 World Cup, the money they spent, when you combine the last 3 World Cups before them, they outspent them in terms of money spent for a World Cup tournament, and people were still looking forward to it. I mean, it was so much to look forward to, but this one, but even at that, things continue. Some things cannot stop. World Cup jerseys are already coming out. We already see World Cup jerseys. This morning, I was showing Emmanuel that of Super Eagles. Before then, I saw that of France, where with their 2 stars.
I saw the Netherlands too.
The Netherlands. We saw that even Senegal had to come out to release a statement that, it's not because of the AFCON drama that the reason why they're having just 1 star on their jersey to signify how many AFCON they've won is because they said the production in September. It was even before even before the AFCON started at all. They said in September, and they had already gone far, so they would update it after the World Cup. And they are still holding on to their 2 stars. They don't want to hear anything. So guys, I want to move from that topic, so let's face this one. The World Cup is approaching. I mean, like I said, qualifiers comes this week, but I want us to focus on the Super Eagles, even though they would most likely not be playing at the World Cup. Their friendlies coming up against Jordan and Iran. That's if Iran doesn't pull out at the end of the day, because
they're going to come, because the game is going to be played
in Turkey.
Okay, so yes, the conversation now is going to be around goalkeepers. This is the premise of the conversation, and I want you to also drop your comments on what you've observed in recent years when it concerns goalkeeping. Goalkeepers have always been some of the backbones we've had in the Super Eagles team since they became the Super Eagles. I mean, we had the Green Eagles, they kept changing, but since they became the Super Eagles team, goalkeepers have been some of our strongest departments. And when we say strongest department, we're not talking of just one goalkeeper. There's always been a solid backup.
Yeah, strong second choice.
Strong second choice. And once your first choice is either injured or not available, just like Wabali will not be available, most likely because of his situation with club football. He doesn't have a side since early February, I think. And so we are not seeing him as part of those invited by Eric Shaw for this friendlies, for this set of friendlies. We've seen, I want to go back back in time. We saw when we had Peter Rufai, Duduema of blessed memory now. We had Ike Shoromo as his backup goalkeeper, as his choice backup, because once you know that Peter Rufai is not, in fact, when there's any drama in the national team that some people are behaving too big for the coach can decide to dump you and then bring in someone. When we had Enyama, we had Dele Ayenugba, we had what's the name of the other goalkeeper? Ejide. When we had, it's always been like that, but since the era,
I think Carlin came in, was he a backup to?
No. At some point, then there was
and
there was a time he grew into
became the number
one when Enyama obviously
before
his gloves and
leukemia came in.
Unfortunately, we had to. It's one of those players that
had to retire prematurely.
You continue to say what would have been if he had gone on to have a full-fledged career. Now, guys, let's bring it to since the era of the time we stopped qualifying for World Cups. We've done it back-to-back times now. Goalkeeping has been one of the things that have been our undoing, and also been one of the things that we keep hammering on. Now we have Stanley Wabali, but we also remember that, injuries were something that we were scared off for him during the World Cup qualifiers. In fact, it was almost going to miss playing most of the games at the AFCON, but he pushed through, surprisingly for him. Wabali is not playing currently with a club side, which is obviously affects his performance. We are just lucky that we're not going to the World Cup. Now imagine if we're going to the World Cup and we had this issue on ground, no club for him, and match fitness, all of that's been there, or he gets injured. We are suddenly thrown into, because right now the 3 goalkeepers that we have invited to camp this window are Maduka Okoye, Adebayo Adele, and
Emmanuel's friend. Maybe you wind up
with a great smile.
Yeah, the tall man himself right there. And
Francis.
I always like to add, for certain players, I always like to add their achievements. World Cup goalkeeping, or World Cup goalkeeper Francis as well, because among all of them, he's the only one that has played
at the World Cup.
Multiple AFCONs. Easy now. About 4 to 5 AFCONs.
AFCONs, many of them now have gone to AFCONs.
For goalkeepers.
No, I'm saying for the goalkeepers, almost all of them have been at least one AFCON. We had this guy at the 2021 AFCON in Tunisia.
Maduka Okoye.
No, sorry, we lost against Tunisia in Cameroon. Yes. Maduka Okoye was our first goalkeeper. Then now we have Wabali that has gone to back-to-back AFCONs as the first choice goalkeeper. So Uzoho might not, but you see that World Cup that he went to go and be our keeper in 2018, or whatever. Nobody can take that away from him. I think he mentioned in one of the pressers we had in Morocco. Now, guys, what is because we actually have to find a solution. The AFCON is coming again next year. Before you know it, now start running helter skelter again. What is that player that you think the NFF should be looking for, or those players that you think we can pull into this crop of players we have right now? The pool we have right now, those 3, if you add any other person, will be Amas Obasoji, who has been consistent. Let me use consistent because we've had stints from other MPFL goalkeepers in the national team, but consistently we've had these 3 plus Wabali making 4 plus Amas making 5, but we still believe that we have a goalkeeping problem. Emmanuel, you've covered the national team a long time now. What are the other players you think we can bring into this crop of goalkeepers that you think, we can start building for the future if we are not going to outrightly solve our problems in the next 1 year or 2?
To be honest, no indigenous player comes to mind. Like when I say indigenous, I mean real Nigerian players. The Aspera comes to mind because I had high hopes of some of the names over the years. But the consistency just isn't there. We've had some second choice, third choices.
Do you think they've been given the chance?
No. But even if you're not given the chance, where's the consistency in successful inclusions? Because you don't include me now in one squad the same season under international break. I'm not there, and I'm not injured.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not a vital window. So it's not like yes, they've not been given a chance. But then again, where's the that consistency? Because at some point we had John Noble as one of the goalkeeping department as well. I think he's back in Rivers United now, or John Noble, if I'm not mistaken. It was at the AFCON in 2021. Yeah, the one in Cameroon. Yeah. So we've had so many of them, and I've had high hopes, but they've not they've not really convinced me. Yes, Amas now has been the standout third choice in recent years. No, I have to put it that way, standout third choice.
Because
he keeps getting called up, and then again, you look at these goalkeepers, you look at the club they play for, it doesn't really spark any confidence. There's been no consistency. Adebayo Adele is one goalkeeper I had high hopes. Yes, people have come out to say his height and all that might be a disadvantage for a goalkeeper, but then again, you can make up for it, But looking at
sorry
his,
to cut you short. That's why it goes back to what I said earlier. In terms of trust and for Adebayo Adele, I don't think he has had one game that he has been in goal for more than one game. I think it was the one against Sierra Leone when we were qualifying for, was it the 2023?
I remember that game. I think we considered 3 in that game.
I'm just trying to chip this in. If as a goalkeeper you have not had more than one chance for your national team, is it a case of the coaches not trusting him, or is it a case of him not convincing them enough that okay, you are that guy that okay, we can put in goal and say okay, go and become a goalkeeper that we can always call upon?
Like you said, they've not been given enough chance. But for their clubs, what are they saying? What's the performance they are putting? Because we barely see Adebayo Adele. Like we barely see, because one window you hear he's moved to one club.
This issue that this guy faced recently in his club, that he's not the third choice goalkeeper. We are seeing Adebayo Adele come back to this team.
But he's been cleared. You're talking about Amas,
yes.
Yeah. Well, it's been cleared, and he's not even playing much with Singida Black Stars in Tanzania. He's not. That's the thing. Your performance for your club doesn't even speak highly enough for you to be even given a chance in the national team, and it's really sad. Because Adebayo Adele has been, moving here and there in lower leagues in Greece, clubs, little known clubs in a division in faraway Greece, where you're not even playing for the top clubs like the PAOK, the Panathinaikos and the likes, but some Volos. These are clubs people don't know in Greece as well.
Only those that are booking on bed.
So it's been really sad. It's been really sad. And Amas, like I mentioned, I had high hopes during his time in the MPFL, record clean sheets in the whole season with Bendon Insurance. Yeah. We felt, okay, this is one home-based goalkeeper who will go on now to bring that James and be a prominent goalkeeper with the Super Eagles. Yeah. We've had a couple of them, but they've not gone to the Super Eagles and stamped their authority. So I thought Amas at the time would be that goalkeeper, but sadly it's not happened that way. Maduka Okoye, high hopes as well. Then the AFCON happened, the error happened, the backlash. I mean, his fine boy privileges went against him, and all that. People were, annoyed that he's too fine. He's a fine boy goalkeeper. He shouldn't be a goalkeeper of the Super Eagles and all that. But credit to him, he picked himself up. Now he's the undisputed first choice with Udinese, but he wasn't at the AFCON. I don't know if stories were through. We hear he wanted to make sure he's the only number one at the AFCON, so he doesn't just want to go and be backup. While games at Udinese where he could be first choice is there whiling away and wasting away. So it's just sad to see. Glad to see him back this time around. Hopefully there's been a change, there's been a decision turn around and all that. But
hopefully it comes on time. I have to chip that in.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, something I'm always agitated about when camp opens.
Especially when you want to stamp your authority, when you want to grab a position.
That's my issue.
He's given a second choice.
That's my issue. Just on the Okoye conversation, that's my issue with him. I feel like what happened in 2021, maybe a big deal, but it's not something that you kill yourself for. It's not like you were given a back pass. I don't think it's worse than what Uzo considered not qualifying for the 2022 World Cup when we played against Ghana. It was just a mistake. Of course, backlash. Maybe because there's this thing that Bros would always say, that's Edafe, will say that you don't have that thickness of Nigerian spirit, and then they can always. I mean, someone like Uzo has been rubbish, talked about so badly, but
nobody's even some of the people that have gotten the highest number of backlash are people like Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen will always have his loyalty question whenever something goes bad. He was one that dragged us to the playoffs qualification, and then because he did not play the second half of that one, people say question his loyalty to the national team. So I mean, you are very correct about you growing a thick skin to certain things, and he went on to the AFCON and performed really well.
Absolutely.
If not, he would have said, "Oh no."
It's the same thing for Okoye for me. I don't think he has tried to come back from that scene. I don't think he has tried to.
No, I think he has.
No, he has not, Emmanuel, in the sense that there are so many times I can count maybe I cannot count, but at least I will not be wrong if I say 3 times in the last, since that time, in terms of windows where Okoye has decided to pull out of the national team
or come extremely late. Not late, he comes extremely late.
The body language has not been really smooth for someone who experienced that kind of thing. Like I said, it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst mistake in goalkeeping errors.
Onana used to go to this
it's not the worst mistake in goalkeeping errors. I feel like the body language, whenever you are called to camp, try to put in your effort. Okay, I want to show up, I want to prove that okay, I can get into this team. It may not be easy, of course. There's now, not even now when there's a Stanley Nwabali, but I mean, consistently show up when you're called to camp. Come as early as you can, but most times you're the one always coming late, or you're the one always pulling out. I mean, look at the last AFCON, like you said. We expected that okay, Maduka Okoye would have been called upon. Many did not even expect that Francis Uzor would be called upon, but all of a sudden we saw Francis Uzor and then Maduka Okoye. We heard, like you said, we don't know if it's true.
We don't know if it's true, yeah.
Because he felt like playing for his club was more important than just going to the AFCON to remain on the bench. So body language has not been really been the smoothest from
body language in terms of reporting for national team duties.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about his club performance. I mean,
because that's where I was looking at.
Yeah, there's a way you show up and know that okay, guy, I'm ready to bounce back from what happened. Okay, it happened then. Even though personally for me, I don't think it was a goalkeeping error. Some people see it that way, but for me, I don't think it was an error that we should stifle on Maduka Okoye. But even if at that, let's assume that okay, many people see it that way. There's a way you kind of push yourself back into it and say, okay, I want to get back into this national team. I'm ready to. Anytime I'm called upon, I'm ready to show up. I want to show up early. I can keep in friendly games and all that. I'll not be surprised on Tuesday or Wednesday they say that okay, he has pulled out again. I mean, that's the thing. It has happened severally.
I get what you're trying to say, but credit to him how he built himself up from that era and from all those ridicule then.
And apart from that, he has actually faced more things aside from the Nigerian backlash and error, where he had a betting scandal. So it's just a lot that should have taken him down, which is why I'm surprised that for someone that has been able to come back from these things, you are not showing commitment to the country that is the only chance for you to be able to play at the national team at a senior level.
So we have to keep our fingers crossed on that one. But for club level, it's really to come away from that, and now the first choice for Udinese is a huge leap. So for me, like I said, the consistency is just been the issue. Look at Francis Uzoho. Look at that performance in the Europa League against.
Even play for now? My GPS.
He's in Omonia. Omonia Nicosia. So look at this is what I want to talk about. So now look at that performance against Manchester United seasons ago in the Europa League. That's a performance where that's a performance where you get a move off. Absolutely. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If you put up some performance, you should get a move. You should get a move off the back of that performance. But he's still stuck with Omonia in Cyprus, where people who watches the league in Cyprus. So that's what I'm saying. So when
our recent crop of goalkeepers, because I don't think anyone expected that Wabali, who is the first choice, would give those performances he gave at both AFCONs, and then right now he's clubless.
Struggling for clubs.
The thing about Wabali is even the fact that we were in a position, and that's one thing I'll say, huge credit to Jose Peseiro for that one thing that at least he gave the national team. We were in a position, I think about a few months to go to the AFCON. The performances Uzor was giving, and we were like, if we go to this AFCON with this goalkeeper, we may not get past the group stage, or if we get past the group stage, probably the round of 16. And then before we saw Jose Peseiro. I think it was a news that he went to South Africa, and then that was how Nwabali came into the picture. Yeah. So I feel like even the coaches themselves, maybe they've not been so, they've not seen it as a problem, just as we the fans see it, or the technical department of the NFF. I don't know what they need to do, but it's a problem because we don't have a backup now.
Before I come to names, it's really a problem because even our undisputed first choice as it stands, Nwabali, is still unattached right now.
Because
he's looking for a club because I don't know why you decided to part ways with your current club when you don't have another option. Yes, the move will eventually come. I think I saw a report somewhere. I don't know how true that Orlando Pirates are close to getting him, still in South Africa as well, one of the top clubs in South Africa. But we'll wait for official confirmation on that one. So if our first choice is at this point unattached, still looking for a club, then the consistency in the second choices and third choices is just appalling to the eyes. And sorry, guys, even for our home-based goalkeepers, I don't see any name I could call that could go there and fit in. I'm sorry.
For the first time, I'm not like
because
for the first time.
The last home-based goalkeeper we had, I felt was also. I talked about Almas a couple of years ago. We had Osai Kingdom with Doma United. I was covering the MPFL at the time. When Star Times was there, Osai Kingdom did so well with Doma United. That fantastic run they had. Where is Osai Kingdom as it stands right now? That's the consistency I'm talking about. So you don't build up to when that height you've attained for when people are clamoring for you. Then all of a sudden you go from here and you just drop down.
Of Remo Stars,
as well. Move to South Africa. Is he playing? How many games is he playing? So it's just sad to see, and we hope that consistency builds in the next couple of years as far as goalkeeping positions is concerned, because we've had that over the years. Decent first choice, second choice is always there to compete, to push the limit and all that. So it's really sad to see. Then moving on, talking about names, like I said, no home base comes to mind. I have to go diaspora. I mean, you all know the name we are talking about. Arthur Okonkwo plays for Wrexham. Wrexham are doing great as it stands. They are in the championship playoff, close to the championship playoff position. I remember over the years, a couple of years ago, we talked about how the new owners of the club are putting them in a good couple of lights, progression wise. Started from the lower divisions and now they are gunning for promotions into the Premier League as well. And to be one of the key figureheads, one of the spine of that team, I hope they get promoted. It's always going to be a good shout as well. And he's had he didn't play at Arsenal, but he's been loaned to Stormgrass, to Crewe Alexandra, and now signed for Wrexham, a 3-year deal. So I think it's one name that comes to mind. The other name that comes to mind is the guy at Freiburg as well. What's his name again? Noah Atubolu. He plays for Freiburg. Even though he's leaning towards Germany, he's yet to be capped to the senior national team, but he's been capped at under 21 level, so he's still eligible to play for the Super Eagles. Now he's leaning towards Germany, but I think we can still convince him to play for Nigeria. It depends on those that are pitching for us. How you can convince.
There was a time where
I was
they need to do a lot that could do that job, because the core spine of our team right now are people that came from that era that were added to the team, because we had the bargaining power then that could go to players, and I don't know whatever the person or the set of people used to tell them, but we had, like I said, a core of our national team now are people that switch allegiance.
That's right. And it's no crime if as long as you can get them, go out there and get them. Absolutely. Other countries are buying that strategy now, getting diaspora players as well. So if you have a good pitch it to these guys, convince them. As far as there's still chance, there's still opportunity for them to play. Go out there, get them. We need goalkeepers. And these two goalkeepers I mentioned, they are standout names that play regularly for their clubs, not just there. They are playing regularly, and other federations are watching them and looking at them. And if we don't act now, we might go on to lose them eventually. So those are the two names, to be honest, that comes to mind.
In relation to what Emmanuel said, I think I don't know much about Noah Atubolu, but I follow Wrexham a lot, and I know that Otto is someone, like you did say, consistently plays. But I don't know, but I feel like here in Nigeria, I hope that they will continue to develop, and then they don't go to they don't
obscure
go to a place
leagues.
Where, I did not want to use that word.
This is what they use. Don't worry,
they don't go to a place where it now becomes where is Osai Kingdom. The word Manuel used earlier.
I think he came back for a period of time.
Those names are, Bayelsa United goalkeeper, Clinton. Is the second choice, or maybe I don't know if I say
the cadet
second
level.
Choice. He plays for the Flying Eagles. This guy also was the Sporting Eagles goalkeeper.
Harcourt.
He plays for the Flying Eagles. The fact that they're already playing for the Flying Eagles is already a good chance that they would
that's another good angle to look
at
it.
I hope, that's what I said, I hope that they don't go to leagues where we start asking, where is this guy? Secondly, maybe Michael Atata of Ikorodu City, not because of my affiliation. Firstly, I watch him play very well. He's very good. Secondly, he's young as well. So that's what I'm saying. I hope that they get to a position where we don't start asking, where are they playing? I'm not saying they should come in right now, but I'm talking about for future purposes.
Like if
we can groom them to place in the next 5 years, we can have. If there's Clinton, I don't know if you have watched Clinton keep. as that boy is young,
I have.
young,
It's
Akot
really
as
good,
well,
yeah.
very, very good. So these are keepers that we can say, okay, the next maybe 5 years, maybe not even 5 years, maybe 3-4 years, they can be in the national
So
team.
we're getting ready for another World Cup.
Absolutely, and then
which we hope we qualify for.
They'll be very good competition.
Yes.
That's why I'm praying that they don't go to obscure leagues, because it's one thing to be playing right now and we see the potential, and then it's one thing we now start saying, where is he playing at the moment? I mean, I hope they don't get to that stage, but they are very good keepers that if we can have them play in good leagues and monitor their growth, they would be very good for the national team. Trust me.
I mean, talking about the national team, well, as we wrap up, let's tell you that Chelsea player.
I thought you wanted to say that Maduka
has pulled out.
Look at this guy. You know, my mom used to say something. Say, don't be for my mouth. Go, yes, a chief don't die. So yes, Chelsea's defender, Chelsea and English, I don't know if I'll call him an English defender because he has not been capped by the English national team, but Tosin Adeboroyo has officially indicated that he is available to represent the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, it's not something we're going to talk about on the show, but I mean, if you can check out the list of players that were invited for this, just know that there's a possibility that one of these windows you can see Oluwatosin. And then when it comes on to that particular level, these are the players that are called up by Eric Chell, but doesn't mean that all of them represent us. For instance, I'm very sure that Victor Osimhen, due to the injury to his arm, will most likely not be part of those that will be playing in those
sorry, Joe, we're talking about consistency in call-ups. Where are the guys at the AFCON? Where are the Nnadis? Where the Salim Fago? Where's the Ebenezer? That's the thing I'm saying.
People, and that's one. It kind of makes people who talk
why
about
then this is a friendly game, so why they not here?
Industry plants.
Exactly. It kind of make people
why they not here?
Okay,
so it's just sad.
Quota system color. It kind of make them look like they know what they're saying.
Yeah. I mean,
you took them to the AFCON. You didn't get to feel them. This is a friendly game. This is where you need to see them. And these guys are still young. So why call them up to the AFCON if you can't call them up to an ordinary friendly game?
I mean, it's an international break, a very lengthy one for most of these players because many of them will not be playing cup competitions that will require them to resume immediately after the international break window is over. I mean, so like there's no excuse. But that is a question that if they were playing this friendlies in Nigeria, so people like us would have been opportune to ask Eric Chell during the pre-match press conference.
I don't know why my guy is not there, though. I don't know why Tolu is not in that list. I don't know why. But
I mean, seeing that he is someone who plays regularly.
I think he's still focusing on the club side of things. And there's I'm talking about that. I also feel so much for Uche till now.
Chrysanthus.
I don't know why.
I mean, these are the sort of friendlies where.
But it's looking strange that he's not even featuring for Crystal Palace at the moment at all.
I mean, talking of that, like I'm just putting it there that it's possible that one of these days you might see Tosin on
the crash out go loud.
That's what I'm saying. I'm preparing your mind down for it. But guys, while we are waiting for that to happen or to not happen, or for Timothy's prediction to come to pass or not,
I will never support Maduka Okoye.
This is where we'll be drawing the curtains on this edition of the show. Remember that if you've not subscribed, please do share this with your friends also, and thank you for always dropping comments. We always read them. We're always conversing with you. And like we said at the beginning of the program, please be on the watch out because we'll be having some of you on one of the episodes or some of the episodes of the Gliders toward the end of the season. Thank you so much. I did this alongside Timothy. Timothy, it's great having you. I mean, your disappointment was my blessing because I had to field you on the show today. And Emmanuel also, it was great to have you today.
I'm waiting on our coach, you're always right.
Someone called it EPL Obama.
It's crazy actually.
IPL Obama. There's nothing they say EPL Chinua Achebe.
Let out to the church in France. Apostolium Osimio.
My God. But yes, those are some of the things that you face when you are in. If I know they follow football now, should they go follow football?
I saw a tweet yesterday where a United fan said that let's keep Carrico, that most of these tacticals now they must have made it.
They're not good. But yes, that's some of the things, some of the banter you face where your team is not doing well. But I'll be back. At least I not lose the cup final. When I got to finals, I won them. So yes, we'll be seeing you on the next edition of the show. Till the next time we meet you, keep watching, keep sharing, and keep subscribing. Bye bye.
Peace out.